As we were saying earlier in the show, you have a lot of fun doing this show because we get to talk to people from all walks of life, from ordinary people, from to well-noted people, and we have one of those well-noted people here, but just a down-to-earth, loving, enthusiastic soul that puts her heart and soul in everything that she does. I'd like to reintroduce you guys to actress Denise Pence. You might remember Denise from her soap opera days on The Guiding Light, and Denise has done a whole lot since then, and she's a house of fire. She's off in 10 different directions. It almost gets to where I don't do a list for Denise. I say, "What are you doing, Denise?" And she tells me, but I just love to, I feed off her enthusiasm, and I'm always glad that she's there and well, and gives me a charge when I speak with her. How you doing, Denise?
Oh, I love that introduction, Tony. Thank you so much. I feel like the working girl on your soundtrack with Carly Simon. That's a great lead-in. I love it. I'm so related to that character, I can't tell you.
And how did you get involved with this crazy business of acting?
Oh, my God. I think I was just trying to get out of El Paso, Texas, to tell you the truth. Border town girl, and did a lot of summer stock, in community theater, and always was in ballet class. My parents were divorced, so I was always in the middle of dance class, the chorus line thing, which became my husband and myself were immortalized in chorus line as Al and Christine, and all of those stories, they were so true. You kind of go to dance class to get away from something else. My parents were divorced, and that's where I got my whole, it fed my spirit to be in a dance class, which, in El Paso, Texas, it's not the most creative place in the world, and by chance I ended up at the North Carolina School of the Arts because another friend of mine had gone there, and then by chance I came up to New York, and I ended up auditioning for going through an open call for the Rothschild, which was way back when, met my husband, and the rest is history. I just stayed in the business. I've now gotten older, and I'm doing all these other things. I don't know. I mean, to go through my whole life is kind of crazy, so I try to focus on where I am right now, in the present. Like I just finished putting my show. I record a show for Gatewave.
Yeah, you are a Gatewave contributor. I am a proud minor contributor. Isn't that a great program?
I love it. I really do. It's taught me a lot. I mean, I went into it. I auditioned really to broaden my broadcast skills so that maybe I could do audiobooks or maybe I could do radio or whatever. I was looking for a job. And I grew to love it. I mean, I came in as a floater, and then I was working with someone, and then they let me sub for a show, and now I've got my own show, which is the Cinematic Arts, and I have to admit I've embraced it with a lot of responsibility because I think the arts can educate you so much. They're that line of humanity that all of us can embrace and understand, like that movie, The Big Short. I don't know if everybody saw that yet, but
I'd like to.
I was blown away by it. It educated me as to what was going on, because if you try to read the book, my husband tried to read the book, and he was like dog-earing it. He didn't understand a lot of the money stuff, the economic stuff. And then you go to the theater, and somebody smarter than all of us is able to break it down and put it into something that you can understand and be entertained by, even though it's such a horrible thing that went down there. So Gatewave, for me, I'm reading today's program, which airs on Thursday, is from the Hollywood Reporter, and Barbra Streisand was given the Leadership Award, the Sherry Lansing Leadership Award, and she talks a lot about when she directed Yentl back in the 80s, and women directors were not looked on very respectfully, and she had a big fight. She had a struggle, and they call her difficult. When she really just had a vision she wanted to achieve, and the world thinks she's a little headstrong, I guess. I don't know, but anyway, she's now, being given this leadership award, and she is respected in the industry, and
Yes, she
other
is.
women are starting to come up with a voice. Patricia Arquette is also profiled in my show with, when she did that talk about pay inequality for women at the Oscars. And so she's now interviewed by The Hollywood Reporter, and that's part of my next show. And I find that so stimulating that these women in power actually are able to have a voice and facilitate change, help facilitate change. I have no power. I have my little show, and I enjoy that little platform. And sometimes I'll pull in, my own background with the soap world and the Broadway world and, whatever I can relate to on a personal level.
Well, and you mentioned, I think we've had this discussion before, like, I am a show business kid. Not that my parents were performers, but my father and his brothers and several of my cousins were involved doing stage work on Broadway plays. One of my cousins went on to some minor production work. I'm talking grade C- pictures in the 1970s, but he's on the Internet Movie Database. I have yet to arrive there. And, it is not at all, and this is something I'd like for you to speak on, shall we put it, whatever a tame existence is, whatever somebody would think a tame existence is, it's not at all like that. And there's a lot of things and a lot of hours and a lot of auditions and a lot of this, a lot of that never gets written up about. So you tell us.
Oh, I think it does get written up about. I mean, those are the stories that I like to talk about on my show. I mean, I'm not into a lot of pop culture. I'm into how an actor went about getting to the position they're in, because it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
And I know when I hit Guiding Light, I had already been working quite a few years on Broadway. I had quit one show, which was Pippin, the original Pippin, and I let go of a Broadway contract because I felt I was ready to go for a straight play. I felt that I'd been studying with Wynn Hanman, one of the best teachers in New York at the time. He's still teaching, actually. I should go back to him again to just keep myself. But I joined a theater company. I figured that's even better because I've got original writers writing for me again. Kind of like it was when we were doing the soap opera. You had a repertory company of actors, and the writers were writing pretty much for us.
Right.
We facilitated a certain storyline, but I was a part of a repertory company at that time. It was an amazing experience and wonderfully educating. But getting to that audition was not the easiest thing in the world. I remember fighting with my husband to do a dinner theater role, which was a straight play, Neil Simon, Come Blow Your Horn, in a dinner theater somewhere in Ohio. And he didn't want me to go because he doesn't like me out of town. And I'm going, you're directing this, and you're directing that, and what do you want, me to be home so you can tell me about your great day? I've got to go do this play.
I understand.
I fought for the play, and I went out of town, and it was opposite Lyle Wagner, who was Wonder Woman's husband. I don't know if anybody remembers all of that.
Oh, yeah, Carol Burnett's show.
Yes, exactly. Tall, dark, handsome, wonderful guy.
Yeah.
We had a blast working on Come Blow Your Horn. And I came back to New York, and I'm looking for I had an agent, sort of, kind of, and I kept trying to find, where I was going in my life, I mean, I sort of, kind of had an agent, and I heard they were auditioning for the soaps, and my agent that I had, supposedly, wouldn't send me in, because he said I was too young. So, and I'm going around, I'm meeting other agents for commercials. Not for theater, necessarily, but for commercials. And I meet this agent, and he says, have you been in on the soaps? And I said, well, my other agent says I can't. Now, I didn't have a contract. I'm sure I didn't have a contract with that other agent. It was kind of verbal. And this guy said to me, well, do you want to go in? And I said, sure, So I went in, and I was auditioning for two different soaps. One I didn't get, and the Guiding Light created this role for me. I didn't get the role I was auditioning for, which was Jackie Marler, who Cindy Pickett got the role. I was too young for the role. And they created Katie, and they stuck her in the station. And truly, it was kind of timing. It was one of the other actresses who was a regular on The Guiding Light left the show to go to California. So the slot was open. And somebody in the networks or wherever liked me, and they thought, well, let's see what happens. So my thing just kind of slipped through. I do believe it was a lot had to do with I was young and pretty. That was like a big criteria for soaps. But I do believe that I stayed because I also had the acting chops. And I'm real proud of that because I've watched other girls come and go in the soaps. And, you know, I mean, I know I was let go after all was said and done, and I'm pretty sure I didn't stay too long at the fair. I probably should have given notice the same way I did after Pippin. But by that time, I had 2 kids at home, and I was ready to just stay there for my life, you know?
I understand.
Get the kids through college, and then I'll go figure out where my life is again, you know what I mean?
I understand.
At the time you have babies, it's not your life anymore, you know? So I wasn't so very focused on what I am now.
What I'm going to do with myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm curious to ask you, a good friend of this show and a good personal friend, Michael Dante, Stanford legend, 150 television shows, 30 feature films, numerous appearances we've had on the sports show and on this show.
Wow.
He loves to tell the story that way back when he was offered the lead for the Dr. Steve Hardy role in General Hospital, and he turned it down because he thought, in context, this will not be good for me, this will typecast me, and this will leave me here forever. What he did was he called up his friend John Bernardino, and John was trying to work his way into acting after baseball and say, hey, I want to give it a shot. Well, John said, yeah, I could use the work, and I think John might have ended up, when he passed on, like maybe the 4th or 5th richest man in California, or whatever the case may be. He was there for all those years, all those appearances, all those shopping malls, I mean, on and on and on. Said all that to say this. Do you think being in a soap opera helps or hurts your career in context?
Oh my God, that's a loaded question in a way because
I had to do it to you. Sorry.
It's a great stepping stone, and I have to champion the actors on soaps because it's not the easiest thing in the world. You know, we were doing a show a day, and if you got any kind of gems out of that, you have to understand the pressure that everyone was under. And we won Best Show. In the first 2 years that I was there, we won Best Show for the first time at CBS. Mostly those awards had gone to ABC shows. I was so proud of that because I was an important part of the show by the time that 2 years had gone by and we won that award. I knew it was because the writers and the actors and the directors and everyone was working as a team, and all of us were doing the best of what we do, right? Individually. The directors directed, the writers wrote these beautiful little scenes, and the actors, I mean, we blossomed. And I just think that in a repertory environment like that, as a learning process, as a growing process, when everything's working together, there's nothing like it. And it's great for who you are as an actor, for learning and growing. However, if you stay there for 10 years, which is what I did, and I know some of the others were there 20 and 25 years, it does become your life and you do get labeled. And you can't get away from it. Now, I may have gotten away from it now but maybe not, because people still, introduce me as Denise, Katie Parker, the Guiding Light. I will probably never let that go, and not that I want to, because I'm very proud of Katie, except for her demise at the end was really boring, and she didn't go anywhere of any kind of import. But in the beginning, I grew from nothing, and I really believe it's because I had the support system around me, plus I delivered the goods, and that was gratifying. If I had left early, I know one girl, I follow her career actually, and she did 2 soaps, but she didn't stay too long on either one. She had a major character on as the world turns, and then she went to One Life to Live, and then she got out, and she does theater, and she has a career. I just saw her on The Good Wife, and she doesn't have children, as far as I know. So her choices have been very much more,
professionally oriented.
She'll take the leap.
Yeah.
I'm ready to take all sorts of leaps right now. In fact, both my kids think I'm crazy. My husband sometimes too, because I'm adamant that I still have the goods. I still have a place in this business. So I'm fighting for that. I still need a manager. If you know anybody out there who's a manager, I'm beginning to give up on agents. I think I need a manager.
I'll keep my eyes peeled. We'll talk offline. You need.
That would be a wonderful New Year's present.
You really think of that Swifty Lazar type, with the cigar and the station wagon,
That's it. It's like marriage, though. It really is. I've been married for 40 years, and I know we go through a lot of ups and downs, but the basic thing between us is complete trust and love, and I need that in a manager. I've been pushed around by agents so many times that, pushed to do things I knew I didn't want to do in my heart and soul, and still pushed to go in on stupid auditions that I didn't want. And I'm not strong enough to say no, I guess. I don't know, but it's gotten me in trouble.
Oh, no, I understand, because you're the sort of person that likes to try different things. You believe in what you can do, and then you get halfway through it and say, what the heck am I doing here? Yeah,
I've got a lot of projects on the Vine, but a lot of them like Gateway. I love what we do for Gateway.
Yeah, I do too.
It's a very valuable service. I wish more people were really knowledgeable about it and see it and can hear it. We get all the messages. Sometimes people call in and they talk about how valuable the service is for them because it's
no other way of getting information.
Yeah, well, it's geared for the visually impaired.
Right.
At this point, I'm beginning to know quite a few people that are, getting on in years and very frustrated because they can't read the newspaper. And I'll immediately tell them about Gateway. Jesus, we've got the New York Times every friggin' day. So It's important. And, of course, my show is so valuable.
Yeah, and believe me, I'm so pleased to do my little piece.
I know, I love your show.
Thank you.
Another thing I'm involved in is the rehearsal club. Are you aware of the rehearsal club?
I may be under context, but perhaps not under its name. Can you tell us about that?
Well, the rehearsal club Stage Door immortalized the rehearsal club. It was a girls' residence for young theater women, and that's how I came into New York. I got a cot at the rehearsal club. It was a subsidized residence. The Rockefellers supported it, the Rockefellers and the federal government.
To protect the young actresses.
Yeah, to give them a safe haven. And it turned out that it was such a great community because of the network and the support that you got with those women. It was tiny. It was like a brownstone, and there were like 40 women, and you got 2 meals a day and a bed, and you had to be in by 11, and no men upstairs. It's a classic kind of place. And when I auditioned for that Rothschild back in 1970, I didn't expect to have to get called back. I mean, I just went down for the experience, right? And all my friends got cut, and I had to come back the next day to sing. And I've never sung. In fact, in chorus line, I'm the girl that can't sing. And I was freaking out about this audition with Michael Kidd and all these big Broadway people. And I go back to the rehearsal club, and one of the girls took me down to the rehearsal club piano, and she said, okay, what do you kind of know? And she puts up the piano. She's got music, and she plays the piano, and she coaches me. And I go back the next day, and I get the friggin' job. And they only hired 4 girls out of like 500. So I was like in some sort of bubble that I went, how the hell did this happen? And then, of course, my husband was my dance partner, and the rest is history. So when the rehearsal club girls came back together in 2006, I became very aware of how important that place was to me personally. And now I'm seeing the statistics on New York where you can't live here. What?
It's untouchable.
It's completely. The rents are horrific. The actors are starting to go back to their homes, which makes the regional theaters blossom because they've got all this really great talent.
Locally, yeah.
And Broadway has become Disney. So I'm like, betwixt and between about trying to get this word out on the rehearsal club. So far, we've inspired a musical, which is called Good Girls Only. It was just finished this past year. I hear from the composer that there's talk about doing it out in California in the spring. I'm like so excited. I don't know anything about it, but it's gotten legs out there.
Well, that's a little curiosity streak you have.
I'm just, we inspired the stuff. We sang it everywhere. I was producing shows just to do these songs. It was like the last 6 or 7 years, I did 3 big productions. And that each time I did a production, it inspired the writers to write more songs. And now we've got a full musical, which I'm completely thrilled about. Then we've got a documentary, which when we did the Centennial in 2013, we managed to raise enough money to do the trailer on the documentary, which is up on our website, which is rehearsalclubnyc.com. And we're raising funds to finish the documentary, which is like, preserving the legacy of what the rehearsal club is. And I've gathered 29 writers from across the country who are writing their memoirs. And right now we have a writers committee in New York that is making the book the best it can be. And then we're going to be looking for a publisher. And I'm like so excited with these creative ventures that none of which I'm getting paid for. But
I understand.
Residual something down the line. I don't know, but it's very exciting to be able to be the catalyst for a lot of this creativity, and I'm happy about all of that. But I do need money to pay the rent. So.
Yeah, don't we all? And I've been having a lot of those discussions during this month of December because, as you know, you used to work in the law firm. You know what December can be like.
Yes, I really can. I love that law firm too. They got my kids through school, I have to admit.
Yeah, I'll be talking to someone, a mutual friend there tomorrow. I'll mention that I spoke to you.
At Patterson?
No, Henry B. Bell.
Oh my God, Stu Bell, I love him.
Yeah, lovely man.
Yeah, Patterson was phenomenal. My boss, Arthur D. Cedarbaum, was the partner of Trust and Estates, and he passed cancer. I was let go about a year later, but he was quite a godfather to so many families with, big high income families that I think used money as a weapon. And he was he was so tender with so many, and he had such patience with some of these people that were just so ugly on some level. I don't like, that's where having a lot of money is not good.
Well, I've always said that money is a force. It's like fire or water. It's not inherently evil or good, but it can be evil or good depending on how you use it.
Well, they say that about beauty, too. My mom said that. She says, don't you take it for granted, Use it smartly. She knew I was pretty, but she said, make sure you got some brains going with the beauty, because take away the beauty. So make sure you know what you're doing. She was right. Always been right.
It really is something.
Maybe.
Well, in our closing minutes together, first of all, thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me again. This is really kind of fun to be able to put my life on the line out here. Who listens to your program anyway? This is what I do with my program. I don't know who listens out there, and sometimes I get kind of intimate.
It's funny because a lot of times we may or may not, depending, get a live viewership. It seems that when we have a quote-unquote national figure, we'll get a lot of people online that night, and that can be entirely crazy. But we'll get these things, and Mike, my producer, whom I have clothes older than him, will parcel these things off, process them, put them on YouTube, and we'll send them off on LinkedIn. We'll send them off to the person we interviewed and said, here, go have some fun. And we are amazed at the views, and it's this whole kind of spiraling, if you will, aftermarket.
Yes, the social media world is quite amazing. I'm teaching it now at the SAG-AFTRA Conservatory just because there's a lot of seniors that don't understand the impact of it. And where it can, I mean, that's why I also believe my career has kind of, things are going on that I don't know about. You know what I mean? There is an energy out there, and I guess when I get the call that's going to at least get me an audition and an offer that is worth something, maybe all this work has, found its source. I don't know. It's like going to that audition for the Rothschilds. Who knew it was going to be the rest of my life? So.
You got the right heart attitude and the right energy. You'll find some surprising things happen. We'll keep talking. I'll keep you in thought and prayer in 2016. I'll let you know how we're doing here as well.
Oh, from your mouth to God's ear. Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you, Denise. Take care. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. God bless.
You too. Bye. And that was Denise Pence. And oh boy, just so much enthusiasm. Just love speaking with her. We are going to be coming right back. We hope to have the lovely and legendary Kathy Garver. We'll know soon enough. But I know you're here, and we're going to keep you entertained regardless of who's here.